This week, Supreme Courts in 3 states will hear cases about abortion access. This comes just days after a Texas woman left the state to receive one after the Supreme Court there reversed her emergency abortion ruling from a lower court.
Yeah, this morning we have our 9 News legal analyst Whitney Traylor in studio to tell us what these courts are now considering. Whitney, good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you both.
First up, several states are legislating issues around abortion and access to it. How has the law really evolved since we've seen Roe v. Wade dismantled?
Well, it's been interesting, and it's evolved, I think, how people suspected that it would, which is all these states kind of doing their own things. And so that's what we're seeing, and that's why we're seeing so many cases go to these individual state Supreme Courts. Now, that's one issue. The second issue that we're seeing is a lot of the states, or several states, had laws from the 1800s on their books. So now you're seeing some of those laws come into play, and a lot of these legislators are trying to actually impose those, which is really bizarre in a lot of ways when you read some of the language. And then finally, the medical exemptions are proving to be very challenging because a lot of these states have near total bans, and they're saying, well, only when it's medically necessary, and what medically necessary is now becoming an evolving term. So all those issues we're seeing.
We were just talking about this in the commercial break. There are several states right now where this is like really a hot topic, right? Where the courts are seeing things. What are they considering right now?
Right, and some of these legal issues, I know this issue is such a hot button issue. I mean, people feel strongly one way or another, but the legal issues are interesting. And so there's 3 states that I wanted to focus on. Arizona, they had, as I mentioned, they had an old law on the books from 1864 that was a near total ban. And then in 2022, they passed a law that outlawed abortion after 15 weeks. So their Supreme Court is saying which law should apply. So they're looking at that. New Mexico, they had repealed a abortion ban in 2021, but some of the local municipalities were now implementing bans. So now the question is, do they have that right? And then in Wyoming, in their constitution, Wyomings have a constitutional right to make their own healthcare decisions. The question there is whether abortion falls under health care, which to me seems, it's bizarre that that's the legal argument. So I just pulled out those particular cases because of the unique nature of the legal arguments as it relates, and it's all related to, abortion.
I remember when we started discussing this in June of last year when Roe v. Wade was overturned, we said that we were expecting to see cases like are playing out right now.
Yeah.
Moving forward, can we just expect to see litigation indefinitely when it comes to cases of abortion access?
I think so. I really do think so. And now you're going to see, I think you're seeing more criminalization. And now the issue with the criminalization is how do you enforce it? If people are going across state lines, if someone does get in, how do you watch and see if someone looks pregnant and then afterward? I mean, just the invasiveness of it is going to be difficult. So we are going to see, I think, a lot of litigation, and that's one of the things that the Supreme Court is designed to do, is when you have all these different courts interpreting the laws in different ways, the Supreme Court rules, and that governs everybody. But of course, they kicked it back to the states. So this was the idea when they issued the Dobbs decision, was we're going to this is a state issue. And now, of course, all the critics are saying now we're getting what we anticipated, which is all these different states, and even within our region, you have different states doing different things, which makes it difficult and makes people travel from one state to another, to get medical help.
And then states like Colorado provide protection for people coming from out of state so that they can't be sued back in their home state.
Yeah.
It's a very complicated issue that we're dealing with here.
We'll be dealing with for years to come.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. Whitney, thank you so much. Appreciate it.